Welcome to another episode of the Common Man's Take on Sports with Kevin and Quentin. We're going to start off with some MLB news. So I don't know if you noticed, but Mr. Shohei Ohtani just signed a $700 million contract for 10 years to move to the LA Dodgers. What do you think about that?
That's just crazy. I think the Dodgers kind of overdid it, to be honest. Overdid the contract. I mean, he's a really good player, but I don't know how the Dodgers could really afford.
Well, they knew they were going to have to do something because they knew if they didn't offer him a ton of money, somebody else was.
Awesome.
So they kind of had to. Unfortunately for them, they knew that their margin for error to sign him was very small because they knew there were teams who could afford to pay him a lot. I think this is good and bad for them. It's good because the Dodgers are generally good, and so now they got Ohtani, who they'll get his bat right away in his pitching a little bit later, but at the same time, are they going to be able to afford to pay anybody else?
Yeah, because, like what I said, I don't know how the Dodgers afford him. And they afford him now. They give him $700 million. How will they afford anyone else? So, maybe they want to extend someone's contract.
I agree. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah.
For them to be able to pay anybody else. That's going to be rough for them. But I'm sure the Dodgers have a plan. We'll see what they do going forward. But yeah, that's a record deal too. That's the largest deal in sports history. Like sports across the board. Like that's the largest deal any player in any sport has ever signed for. $700 million for 10 years.
That's crazy.
I don't. Let me check something here. I don't know if yep, there we go. So that is $70 million a year.
Wow.
That's simple math, right? $70 million a year. That's crazy money. Wow. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know the Yankees and Yamamoto are going to meet in LA this week. We'll see what comes of that. I know the Yankees are pushing really hard. He was on their list of must get this year, right behind Juan Soto, who they did get. So we'll see if they can close the deal for Yamamoto. They are making some moves, as well as some other teams making some small moves there. We'll see what comes out of the Yamamoto sweepstakes. But yeah, there's some teams spending here. Spending big.
Yep. To be honest, I really think that Yamamoto and the Yankees, I think he's going to join the Yankees.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's definitely possible because they're definitely going after him.
Yeah, they're going after him really hard.
Yeah, they're very interested in him, so it's definitely possible. Absolutely. We just wanted to get that out there. Let's move on to the in-season tournament for the NBA. So I wasn't sure how I would like this because I honestly didn't think players would take it serious because everybody's goal is obviously to win the NBA championship, right? Raise that Larry O'Brien trophy. That's everybody's focus. However, the Lakers did bring home the first in-season tournament championship trophy. I did feel like Anthony Davis got robbed of the MVP trophy, but that's okay. They gave it to LeBron, fair enough. But Anthony Davis owned that game end to end against the Pacers. They had no answer for him. He had 41 points, 20 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 5 assists. And I'm pretty sure there was a steal or two somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I watched a lot of those games, and so to my surprise, those players were playing hard. They took it serious. It was like even the Lakers Pacers game, like it was a good game beginning to end. Both teams were playing hard. It was better than I expected. I really think that the players made this worthwhile, and this might actually catch on going forward.
I expected this to be a good game from beginning to end because you got the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton coming off a really good game against the Bucks, and you got the Lakers coming off a destroy against the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought this would be a really good game. Both teams played really tough, and I knew this would happen. I knew the Lakers would win, and I knew the Pacers would fight hard with the Lakers. So I expected this.
Okay. LeBron James followed up with 24 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, and 11 rebounds. D'Angelo Russell had 13. Austin Reeves had 28 off the bench. And then when you look at the Pacers, the game ended 123-109. It was single elimination. So whoever won the one and only game won the trophy. The quarterfinals and semifinals were all single elimination games, and the finals single elimination. So Halliburton kind of got shut down in the first half, but in the second half he came out swinging, and he had 20 points, 11 assists, and 1 steal and 1 block. Toppin had 13, Miles Turner had 10. Obviously he lost that battle with Anthony Davis. Mathurin had 20. Nesmith had a good game too. He had 15. Jackson had 10. McConnell had 8. So all in all, it was a good game. I think all the games were good games. You could tell the players were actually interested, and they were invested. And I think that that's a good sign that the players were invested in the game. Because you always want the players to be invested, because when the players are invested, the fans are invested, because that means you put forth a good product, and the fans like to watch those kind of competitive games. So I was impressed by it. I really think I actually hope they do it again next year. I hope this catches on, and I hope they do it again next year. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed catching on to some of the games, and I agree with you. I hope they do this next year. This is turning out to be going really good.
Yep. Now that's over, the NBA will go back to their regular scheduled games. For an update here. So the Lakers' win streak in that game actually improved their standings, because the games count towards the regular season. Just the stats don't, but the games do. So the Lakers have now moved up in the standings since that tournament, in-season tournament, and so they went from 10th place to 5th. I think at the beginning of the year they were in 12th or 11th, and so now they're up to 5th place with a 14-9 record, which is the same record as the Nuggets have at 14-9. So That's pretty good. You know, the Thunder or the Timberwolves still winning 17-4, Thunder 14-7, Mavericks 13-8, Nuggets 14-9, Lakers 14-9, Kings 12-8, Suns 12-10, Rockets 10-9, and then you got your Clippers at 11-10 and your Pelicans at 12-11. So, pretty good. In the East, you still got your Celtics as number one. Magic is still number two. Very, very surprising, but they're playing really well. They played some really good games. Bucks are number three at 15-7. Sixers are number four at 14-7. Pacers are 12-8. Cavaliers 13-9. Knicks 12-9. Nets 12-9. The Heat 12-10, and your Hawks got the 10th spot at 9-12. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes for the Christmas break. I'm excited to see some of those Christmas Day games. It's the Celtics and Lakers, and the Warriors, and I can't remember the team they're playing, but I think it might be the Nuggets, but I believe it is the Nuggets, and that should be a really, really, both games should be really good games.
It's the Nuggets.
I thought it was the Nuggets. So yeah, Warriors and Nuggets, and Celtics and Lakers. Celtics and Lakers is always a good game. So excited for that. Let's switch gears a little bit here. Let's talk about the Heisman. So, what did I tell you a couple of days ago, right? It would be a travesty. A absolute travesty if they did not give the Heisman Trophy to Jaden Daniels. And who won the Heisman?
Jaden Daniels.
Yes, as he should have. He absolutely was the best player in college football this year, hands down. I'm sorry, but he was. He was the best quarterback. He might not have been on the best team, but he was the best quarterback of them all. He put his team on his back many nights and won some of those games with his legs and his arm. His defense failed him a couple of times, so he had to take the game in his own hands. LSU, time and time again, put the ball in his hands when they needed something, and he delivered most nights. So I think that they got it right. They gave the Heisman to the right person. Jaden Daniels absolutely deserved it. His stats stood for themselves. He finished the season with 40 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns. He finished the season throwing for like 3,800 yards and rushing for another 1,200. He was clearly the best. No other quarterback came close to those stats. He was clearly the best quarterback in college football this year. But not just the best quarterback, he was clearly the best player in college football this year. So he absolutely deserved that award. And I think they gave it to the right person. What do you think?
I agree with you. I thought Jaden Daniels would win the Heisman because these stats have not been recorded ever since Lamar Jackson played in 2016.
You're right. He falls in the same category as Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton,
Michael Vick.
Yep, Michael Vick, Johnny Manziel for Texas A&M. Like they all had the same type of season, and running and throwing the football. Absolutely, yes, I agree with you there. Like he definitely. We haven't seen anything like that since Lamar Jackson. Not a quarterback who could move like that, and definitely put a team on his back and rush for 1,000 yards like that. I agree with you there for sure.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels would be top 5 pick in the draft because of what he's been putting up.
Absolutely.
And I think that he's really a really, really good player.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I fully believe that he moved himself up the draft board with the season he's had this year. It's been an incredible ride for him at LSU. I have no doubt he'll be leaving LSU. He's not going to stay. It's been outstanding for him, and he deserves to move up the draft board.
Yeah, ever since he transferred to LSU, he's just been a great QB there, and I think he really fits at LSU.
Yep, I agree with you there. Absolutely agree with that. I'm looking at some of these bowl games. I'm actually ready to watch some of these bowl games. We watched the Army Navy game. As a former Army vet, I was happy to see the Army pull it out at the end. They got that stop on the 1 yard line to end the game and win the game. That was great. I'm happy for the Army. Even though I'm a Michigan fan, I served a combat vet. I always like to keep tabs on the Army, see how they do. I'm glad. So with that win, they won the Governor's Cup because they beat the Air Force earlier this year, and they just beat the Navy. So the Air Force has to bring them the Governor's Cup. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I think it's always great when they win the Governor's Cup.
Yeah, I mean that was an intense game too.
Oh yeah. Army kind of came out to a large lead, but then Navy came storming back, and yeah, it was so close for that 1 yard line stop, that goal line stand, so close.
Yeah, I mean at one point Army was leading 17-3, then Navy came back, but just could not seal the win.
Yep. The only reason why they scored the 11 was because the Army at the end of the game, when they got the goal line stand, there was 3 seconds left, and just so they didn't turn the ball over, they hiked it in the end zone. He ran those 3 seconds off the clock, then stepped out of the back of the end zone for a safety to give the Navy 2 points in the game. So, love that game. Always try to watch it. Always root for the Army throughout the season. Looking at some of these bowl games here coming up, I think I will definitely have a look at some of these. They start December the 16th, next Saturday. No, not next.
Yes, it's next Saturday.
Next Saturday, so we'll see those. Just kind of scrolling through here. I think some of the ones I'm interested in watching are I think Utah Northwestern. I think that'll be a good one. I'll definitely watch that one. Virginia Tech and Tulane might be a good one. North Carolina and West Virginia. I'm definitely gonna watch Louisville and USC. I'm actually interested to see how that turns out. I'm not sure who's gonna win that one. I think USC has a great chance of winning it, but we'll see.
I think Louisville's going to win that one because you see, Caleb Williams is not going to play in that bowl game. Lincoln Riley will not be there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow, you're right. Louisville's defense, they probably do have a great chance of winning that game.
Yeah, so you got a star QB probably declaring for the draft, and you got Lincoln Riley. No idea what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, you got Rutgers in Miami. Actually, I'll probably watch that one. I think that's going to be a good one. Arizona, Oklahoma. I'll probably watch that one. Arizona's played really good this year. I think Arizona, Oklahoma will be a good one. North Carolina State, Kansas State. That'll be a good one. I'm actually interested in this Clemson-Kentucky game. I think Clemson will win it, but I think it's going to be closer than people think.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for this game because, you got Clemson, who does not have Bo Collins, which is probably Cade Klubnik's favorite target, so it might be a good game. Then you have Kentucky, has had success throughout the season with their running game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, this one might be tough. But I think Clemson's going to pull out with the win.
Another interesting one I think I'm going to watch is Missouri and Ohio State. You've seen Kyle McCord hit the transfer portal along with Julian Fleming and several other important players. So I think that Missouri might actually have a chance to win this game and beat Ohio State, because I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is playing either.
Oh, no, he's undecided. Last time I checked.
He's either going to enter the draft or he's going to enter the transfer portal. But either way, he will not be coming back to Ohio State next year. That's interesting. That's interesting. I know that him and Kyle McCord had a pretty close relationship, so that might be why some of that's going on. I'm interested in the Auburn-Maryland game because this one will tell me a little bit about the Alabama-Michigan game, because both teams struggled with both of these teams. Alabama struggled with Auburn. Michigan struggled with Maryland a couple of weeks ago. So I'd like to see how this game shakes out. I think Maryland's going to win, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'm not sure who else is sitting out for Maryland and Auburn either. So we'll see how that goes. Ole Miss and Penn State, I'll probably catch a little bit of that one too. I actually want to watch the Georgia-Florida State game. And then obviously on the 1st, I'll watch LSU and Wisconsin. And then Alabama and Michigan, of course, for obvious reasons. I'm watching that one. And then Texas and Washington. I think later this week we'll do a breakdown of who we think is going to win the bowl games. We'll do some research and some studying, and we'll tell you guys who we think is going to win those bowl games. And then we'll see what happens. You got anything else you want to bring up?
No.
All right. That'll do it for our show today. We thank you guys for listening and watching. Don't forget, podcasts. We're on every platform. And then we have a YouTube channel. If you guys don't like listening to podcasts, you can go to YouTube, watch our videos on YouTube. We thank everybody who watches and listens. We hope you continue to. We hope you subscribe. And we thank you and have a good night.